This is the ultimate what not to do for your first trip to Japan. Number 1, don't blow your nose in public.
3 rules you absolutely cannot break when traveling in Japan. Number 1, crossing the road.
3 things you should never ever do in Japan. Do not eat or drink while walking.
The lies! There you go, this bitch.
The lies. If I see one more non-Japanese content creator make a video about what to do or not do in Japan that is absolute baloney, dead homies, I'm gonna lose my shit. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's aw-peh, and I'm back in Tokyo. You guys, I just got back from the Philippines like a couple of hours ago. My plan was to lay in this bed all day, do nothing but read, but I made the mistake of going on TikTok first, and I came across a video of this non-Japanese woman trying to talk about things you can and cannot do while in Japan. That is absolutely baloney, okay? It's absolutely baloney. And I see so many videos like this, and when I was preparing to move to Japan, I saw a lot of videos like this, and it really made me more nervous for my move to Japan than I should have been, because everything those people were saying was a lie. They're lying to you guys. Japan TikTokers, they're the worst. They're the worst. I feel like the non-Japanese Japan YouTubers, a little bit more, they have a little bit more up here, but the non-Japanese TikTokers, they are liars from the pits of hell. Anyway, I got up out of bed. I put clothes on. For this video. I didn't even have no clothes on, but it was getting to a point I feel like I needed to fight back. These are the top 10 lies I'm tired of seeing. I compiled a list and we're just gonna jump right into it. No preamble. Number 1, and this is the one that really set me off. No one wears sunglasses or black sunglasses. Now, this is simply not true. As someone who has purchased black sunglasses here in Tokyo, people sell and wear black sunglasses. I don't understand, but I feel like when people that have never lived in Japan think of Japan and they think of the Yakuza, they just come up with this really weird kind of racist caricature of what a Yakuza drug lord looks like. It's not black sunglasses alone, which actually, you know what? Let me get into the second lie that really pisses me off, and then I'm going to explain Japanese Yakuza culture to y'all as it was explained to me by an old Japanese man. Shout out to my OG sons, okay? Just because you have tattoos, nobody thinks you're in the Yakuza. Please, it's tattoos themselves are associated with the Yakuza, yes, but no one is looking at this tattoo, and seeing a Yakuza drug lord. And let me tell you how this man explained it to me. We were on the subject of my tattoos and things that are taboo in Japanese society. He said, even if I saw you with your tattoos and your sunglasses, I know that you're not in the Yakuza. It's more than that. Every Japanese person can tell who's in the Yakuza and who's not in the Yakuza. There's a stature about them. There's a way about them that supersedes and exceeds the base things that Westerners can comprehend, such as maybe the style of dress, which is to include sunglasses and other accessories, or even tattoos. At the end of the day, I mean, shout out to him. He was just keeping it a band. He was just like, I know a black woman is not in the Yakuza. Like, it don't even matter what you got on, sis. Why do people, there we go, and it's so crazy to him, because I was telling him like, oh, people say that all the time, and they're like, oh, those people they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. It's a lie. People wear sunglasses. You're allowed to wear sunglasses. You're allowed to wear dark sunglasses. They sell dark sunglasses here, but you can come to Japan with tattoos. I've been to non-tattoo friendly onsens, and though I did get looks, no one was scared of me. No one told the people that were running it to kick me out. Nothing happened to me, because they can look at me and see, okay, clearly this is not one of the tattoos we're supposed to be worried about. Okay, come on guys. Number 3, I'm sick and tired of seeing those really stupid videos about, oh, I can't get a bank account without a phone number, and I can't get a phone number without an address, and I can't get an address without a bank account. Are you dumb? Are y'all dumb? What? Right now today, show me a country on this planet that you can go and just get a bank account without an address and a phone number. Show me where you can get an address. You can get an apartment without a bank account and a phone number? In what country? In what country? Why is everybody making it seem like Japan is doing something crazy? That really, people make it seem so much harder than it is, especially in the year of our Lord 2025, where you can go on Beyonce's internet and get yourself an eSIM for any country in the world and have yourself a phone number. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. I'm sick and tired of those videos. Oh, Japan is so hard because it's a cyclical cycle. You're only stuck in the cycle if you're stupid. You're only stuck in the cycle if you're stupid. And I'm saying that from a place of love of common sense. Maybe not for you specifically, but of common sense. I love common sense, and I wish you would love it more, and then you wouldn't be in that cycle. You know what I mean? Help me, help you, help us, help society. Stop trying to make this a Japan issue. Which leads me into point number 4. Why do people make it seem like it's so hard to get an apartment in Japan? I was just telling my friend, she's from France. I was like, compared to America, I be feeling like Japan is giving apartments away. The only hurdle I have really encountered in Japan while trying to apartment shop, sometimes a landlord will be like, oh, I don't want anybody that doesn't speak fluent Japanese, which is maybe just a nice way of saying I don't want foreigners. But either way, that happens in America. Like I can't think of a single country where a landlord would want to move in a tenant that does not speak the language they speak. Like that, to me, that's very 1 + 1 = 2. Why are we acting like Japan is doing something that other countries are not doing? And I know why. It's all rooted in white supremacy and racism, but we will get there a little later. Hold on, let me cook because I want to get through these. Number 5, and I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. And this is not to invalidate anyone's experience. This is not to call anybody a liar. Actually, I'm calling a few of y'all a liar. But the gaijin seat does not exist. I've talked about this many times on my channel. When I was preparing to move to Japan, I kept seeing videos about the gaijin seat. Oh, I was just sitting down and I was studying my kanji note cards and no one wanted to sit next to me because I was a foreigner. Shut up. Shut up. It is a lie. And let me tell you something. As an American, I enjoy Black privilege, okay? When I lived back in America, 3 times a week, I would go to LA Fitness and I would swim laps in the pool, and there were 3 laps total. And I tell you, no matter how many other people were in that pool, no one ever tried to share a lane with me. Once, there was one lady that tried to share a lane with me. She originally tried to share it with a man, and she said that man had like touched her wrong or something and tried to play it off like he was swimming, but she ain't like it, so she asked if she could share with me. That is the one time. But even that story, she was ready to share the lane with the man before she wanted to share with me. I was looking forward to the gaijin seat. I said, yes, Black privilege in Japan. I kid you not. And if I can find the video, I will insert it in here. On my very first train ride, and I say very first, I mean like from Narita Airport to my apartment, 2 different people fell asleep on my shoulder. Do you know how often people fall asleep on my shoulder? The gaijin seat does not exist. When I get on the train sometimes, I'll be looking and I'll see people standing and I'll be like, oh, there's an open seat, and it'll be in between 2 Japanese people and nobody wants to sit down. There are so many other reasons that people don't sit next to other people that far exceed being foreign or not foreign. Japan is a culture where a lot of people wear masks in public. Maybe you just didn't have a mask on and they didn't want to sit next to you. It has nothing to do with you being a foreigner, studying your little kanji cards. People just don't be wanting to sit sometimes. These people working 18-hour days, quite literally. And maybe sometimes they just want to stand and stretch their legs. Like, I feel like when people say that, I typically hear that more from white foreigners in Japan than Black foreigners in Japan. And I think white people are just so pressed to be oppressed that they want to take that as a slight. When my eyes and my common sense and my knowledge and the context of the world that I have as a Black woman, it's not the same thing. I think that if you're a foreigner on the train in Japan, for every 100 times a Japanese person chooses not to sit next to you, 2 tops, it's because you're a foreigner. 2 out of 100 times. 98 other times, 98% of the time, it's something else that has nothing to do with you. They're not even thinking about you, girl. Please lock in. Where are we at? Where are we at? This is another one that really pisses me off. When people say you can't eat while you're walking in Japan, that's a no-no. Shut up, Rebecca. It's not a no-no. And I'm gonna explain this to y'all how it was explained to me by multiple Japanese people. I saw the same videos and I wouldn't eat in Japan. And I remember one day I was walking to the train station and there was a man, he was grubbing while walking. I said, oh, okay. The rules don't apply to Japanese people. That's fascinating. But then I kept seeing it. So then I started asking people, I'm like, hey, like, is it weird to like eat while walking? Whoopty whoopty whoop. Most of the people I spoke to, Japanese people I spoke to, they were like, no, that's not weird. 2 people said almost the same thing, and I'm gonna repeat it to y'all and explain what I took from that. They both kind of were like, it's not weird to eat while you're walking, but when I see a foreigner eating while walking, I maybe sometimes stare, because my thinking is, does that person know that once they've left wherever they bought that food from, there's no more trash cans? Which then leads into, is that person gonna litter once they're done with their food? That's what they're thinking. So both of them said they don't know each other. They both said some variation of the same story. Sometimes they're like watching them to see if they'll throw their trash on the floor. That's what they're doing. It's not so much the eating while walking. It's just like, oh, this person maybe doesn't know that there aren't public trash cans in Japan. Do they have the same sense of community that Japan has as a society that will make them not just litter? Littering is obviously illegal in America, but people people wave that off. Whereas in Japan, people take it very seriously to litter, right? So it's not that eating while walking is inherently bad. No one is gonna stone you. You just have to keep your trash. And if you think you're eating and walking in Japan and people are staring at you, they're probably just wondering if you know that. The more you know. Sunglasses, eating, okay, another 2 for 1. You can't show your shoulders in Japan. You can't show skin in Japan. I've seen videos where people are like, oh, Japan is super conservative, so don't wear any mini skirts, don't wear any tube tops, don't wear any v-necks. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Because a baddie is a baddie is a baddie. And I feel like when you say stuff like that, you kind of imply that there are no baddies in Japan, and that's disrespectful. I see them on a very regular basis. And I don't want to generalize. Maybe if I find a statistic, I'll keep this part in there, but I am under the belief that Japanese women have typically smaller busts than the average woman in the global West. So yeah, V-necks aren't popular, but that don't stop them from wearing their short skirts, have about a 1/4 inch of their booty cheek hanging out, because a baddie's gonna do what a baddie always does. Stop trying to police that. Okay, this one I heard last year, and it's been sticking with me ever since. This woman, and I believed her because she was Asian, but she wasn't Japanese. I think she was Asian, but she wasn't half Japanese. But she said she found out that you can't laugh in the movie theater in Japan, which I thought was kind of crazy, but I'm like, all right, cool. Last summer, I went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. If you're not familiar with that franchise, it's a lot of satire, a lot of dry humor. It's a lot of jokes. It's a comedy though, right? It's an action comedy. The first joke dropped, niggas around me started laughing. I said, oh, there must be some foreigners over there. They don't know you're not supposed to laugh in the theater. Cool. Second joke drop. I'm holding my laugh in. The couple next to me start laughing. They Japanese for sure. What they doing? Wait a second. Why is everybody around me laughing? Everybody laughed at all the jokes. Except for me for the first few minutes because I thought I wasn't supposed to. I will say this. There were times where I laughed and no one else laughed. But again, if you're familiar with the Deadpool series, a lot of it is like sarcasm and wit, which often requires a lot of cultural context and nuance that translations might not pick up on. So what is clearly a joke in English or in American culture may not be translated as a joke into Japanese culture. So there were times when I was the only person laughing because I got a joke that was missed. Other than that, everyone laughed at the jokes that they understood. And I remember thinking to myself, why would that lady lie like that and say you're not allowed to laugh in the movie theater in Japan? Very good, very. Has Japan offended y'all? Why do y'all just be making these horrible lies about Japan? I don't get it. Also, I feel like I said I was going to do 10. Realizing now, these aren't numbered. I don't know where I'm at. All right, so I'm just going to give you my final, 2? And we'll keep it pushing. This one I've complained about since I got here. When people are like, don't walk on the wrong side of the sidewalk in Japan, you'll get in trouble. Shut up, Corey. I won't get in trouble, okay? Let me tell you something. There are literal arrows on the street telling you what side to be on. People will walk. Japanese people will walk on whatever side they feel like walking on, and more power to them. As long as you're not in nobody's way, it's a sidewalk, baby. Like, come on. People will gas that up on TikTok, and I'm tired of seeing it. It's like, it's so far blown out of proportion, and it just makes Japan seem like such a rigid, frigid, strict culture that doesn't leave room for the nuance of personality or like personal autonomy. People walk on whatever side of the sidewalk they want to walk on. Like, be so for real, Matthew. Last but not least, and I'm gonna end with this one. This is more of like a general blanket lie. Anytime a video starts with, do this and you won't stick out as a tourist, everything they're about to tell you is a lie. Everything they're about to tell you is a lie. If you don't look Japanese, you stick out like a tourist. There are half Japanese people here that have lived in Japan their whole lives that stick out as tourists because they don't look Japanese to Japanese people. There's nothing you can do or say that's going to make you blend in Japan. The idea of that is stupid. Whenever somebody starts a sentence like that, they're banking on you as the viewer being too stupid to realize how stupid they sound. You can speak fluent Japanese, you can wear the clothes they wear, you can go to the jobs that they go to. If you don't look like a purebred Japanese person, you're gonna stand out. You're gonna stand out. And why wouldn't you? Why do you want to blend in? It does not make any sense. Like, and if you're gang, people gonna mess with you or they not gonna mess with you. I'm clearly a tourist. No matter what I do, I'm a tourist. The way I dress is Western. The way I speak obviously is Western. I'm 5'9" and 50 pounds heavier than the average man out here. There's nothing I can do or say. Taking off some sunglasses and covering my shoulders is not gonna make me look Japanese to a Japanese person. And if you're smart and not Japanese, I'm still not gonna look Japanese to you either. Like, I'm tired of the lies, you guys. All of it really just comes down to, I think, 2 major things. One, the fetishization of Japanese culture. They want to make it seem like, one, that Japan is a monolith, and it's not. And I also think, and I'm guilty of this too, a lot of times people say, here's what to do in Japan, or here's what you'll see in Japan, when what they really mean is, here's what to do in Tokyo. Here's what you'll see in Tokyo. My experience in Tokyo was drastically different from my experience in Hokkaido. I was in the middle of nowhere. I was in eastern Hokkaido, middle of nowhere, okay? And when I tell you, all of the Obachans there, they love me. We was locked in tight like a booty hole. Here, the Obachans never speak to me. It's the Oji-sans that speak to me in Tokyo. So I could be like, oh my goodness, the Obachans are not talkative in Japan, but that's not true. That's just my experience in Tokyo. When I went to Hokkaido, the Obachans, they was here with it. Want to chat me up all the time. It's different. A lot of people say Tokyo, and what they really mean is Japan. Tokyo is not the whole country. It's not a monolith. Another reason why that is, and these are the worst offenders, common sense that's doled out as advice. But I saw a video where it was like, it's super rude to waste food in Japan, so don't order more than you can eat. Karen, name me one country right now where it is not rude to waste food. Just one country right now. Right now. What are we talking about right now? Is it good to waste food anywhere? Like, what are we saying? Like, what are we saying? Like, that's just common sense. Don't order more than you can eat. That's common sense. It is so crazy because people really lap that up. They'll be in the comments like, oh, Japan is such a respectful culture. They're so cognizant of wasting food, as should you be. And let me tell you, and this is the last thing, and I'm done. I've said my piece on this. The reason why they be lying to y'all is because they need the money. There's probably a sponsorship in the video, or they just want the views, they can get the ad revenue, they just want a kickback. And so they just tell people these lies and they eat it up. And here's my thing. I've never been one to be easily influenced. So when people lie on the internet, it doesn't really faze me more than anything else would faze me about a liar. But the lies about Japan need to stop, because when I was trying to move to Japan, most of what I consumed was one of these lies. And getting here and realizing that that really changed the way I saw and how I handled my move was very devastating for me. And that's why I made my YouTube channel, because I wanted to show people what Japan is actually like, not this weird version that these content creators be giving y'all. Anyway, I feel like I've been yapping for a really long time. I'm finna get my book, get back in this bed, and I will see y'all in the next video. Remember, don't let these people lie to you no more. Okay? All right. Love you. See you tomorrow. Okay, no, for real. I do love y'all, but I'll see y'all in a few days. 2 videos a week.